How's it going, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to round 2 of May 8th's Locals, and we have S-Force versus Prank Kids. Now, if you haven't checked out round 1, we had Mutants versus Earth Machines, piloted by yours truly. So if you haven't checked that one out and you want to catch up, I'll leave a link to it up in the top right annotation for you guys to check out, and it'll also be at the end of the video in the last 20 seconds. So we have S-Force, like I said, versus Prank Kids. Never have read a single S-Force card in my life. First time I've ever been on the channel. So it's really cool to have the deck on a feature match. So I'm going to be learning right along you guys as we go. I know it's a column-based archetype. That's really all I know, but I don't know much past that. So our S-Force player does get started with the Pot of Extravagance. And then it looks like he has summoned S-Force Platina and S-Force Gravitino. So Gravitino, the one in attack position, says each of your opponent's monster in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters is banished when it leaves the field. So these have like these continuous effects when they're on the board in certain columns. And we're going to see a Cosmic Cyclone get activated, and it looks like he's going to chain S-Force Showdown, which is a quick effect, and it says special summon one S-Force monster from your hand in defense, or target an S-Force monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So he will chain that, no doubt. And it looks like he's summoned out a copy of the Rappa Chiyomaru, which is interesting. And he tries to use its effect, I'm imagining. Quick effect, you can banish one S-Force card from your hand, return this card to the hand if you do special one S-Force monster from your deck to defense position, except itself. And that does get hit with a Gamma. But it looks like our Prank Kids player is not going to do much after that, unfortunately. And he's going to get hit directly with Gravitino and the Platina. And that's going to do it. That is a quick end of Game 1, and we're already into Game 2. What opening, no Prank Kids really does to a Prank Kid player, and they can't play. Very, very unfortunate. They just kind of get beat down like we just saw there. But this time around, he does find the place, and with it, he'll be able to go into Meow Mew. He'll gain 1,000. All this good stuff happening here. Now resolving Fansies. Fansies will summon out Lampsies by sending what look to be a copy of Pranks. And they'll also add Pandemonium off of Dodo Doodle Doo. Now I want to go back to some of those S-Force cards. That Platina card says each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters loses 600 attack. So yeah, they have these like column-based effects. It is actually pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Mech Knights, like they remind me of Mech Knights if they were combined with like the World Legacy spells and traps. Like if Indigo Eclipse was combined with Secret, or Memory, or not Memory, but or Whisper. Or Key, right? They're all kind of like already put together in one. Or Security Force, as they're called. Yeah. I don't know if they're still called. I don't know what they're. I don't know if I'm reading their TCG names. I'm looking on EDO Pro for these card names. I don't know if they've been updated yet for the current TCG names, but it looks like after Lampsies has summoned out another Fansies, he's going to link for the Bow Wow Bark, and that's going to do it for his turn. It looks like quickly he'll be activating Bow Wow Bark to add back both red and blue. And then we're going to see our S-Force player start with the S-Force field spell, the S-Force Bridgehead. When this card is activated, you can add an S-Force monster from your deck to your hand. When an opponent's monster declares an attack on your S-Force monster in the same column, you can activate this effect. That monster you control cannot be destroyed by that battle. So that is what that card does. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and activate Rhoda. And he's going to go ahead and grab a copy of the Rappa Chiyomaru, which is going to attempt to activate its effect, I imagine. Quick effect to banish an S-Force card from his hand, to return this card to the hand if he does special summon S-Force from the deck with a different name. And that is Matt Frame 1 with an Ash, as it looks like he banished a copy of Gravitino. It looks like he's going to set 2 cards. And looks like that might do it for his turn. So yeah, it looks like we're going to see Pandemonium before he does get to end his turn. Pandemonium going for green, red, and blue. He's going to get all of those effects alongside of Place. I believe Place boosts all his monsters by 500. So he'll now get to summon out 3 by gaining 1,000, burning his opponent for another 5, and also dumping another Prank Kid spell or trap to the grave. And if we look closely, we'll see that we have 2 level 2 Aqua monsters on the board. So you know what that means. Extra pressure is going to be applied next turn. And it looks like our S-Force player is going to attempt to droplet the Butler, as it looks like it's been activated since Meow Mew is banished. Perhaps he's trying to do a little bit of an end phase banish to clear his field to open it up. But it looks like our S-Force player does have the answer for that in the droplet. And he'll get to keep that monster on board, which is pretty important because, again, it does have a quick effect, that it can banish a card from hand and return itself to summon another S-Force monster from the deck, which could be pretty strong based on some of the S-Force monsters' effects. But it looks like he's going to activate S-Force Specimen. If your opponent controls a monster, target one of your S-Force monsters that is banished, or in your graveyard, special summon to your field in the same column as an opponent's monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, the target the S-Force monster you control, move that target to another of your main monster zones. So it looks like he's going to attempt to just summon one back here, and he's going to summon back Gravitino. Let's remind ourselves what Gravitino does. Yeah, so it says if any monster in the same column as an S-Force monster is banished when it leaves the field. So if he decides to use that Toad, it's going to get banished, and it's not going to be able to add back off of its graveyard effect. So that is pretty okay. And it's also using its other effect when normal or special summon to add an S-Force card from his deck to his hand, except Gravitino, and it looks like he added a copy of the Aura Fist. And now we're going to see a Meow Mew get summoned, and that is going to summon out Lampsies. And he's going to try to respond with Ice Dragon's Prison, and that is immediately shut down by a Solemn Judgment. So yeah, that's got to hurt a little bit. So now it looks like he's going to, after all of his monsters have been dropped by place, attempt the effect of the Rapichiyomaru, and that is going to banish one from hand to return it to summon out the Platina. And that is going to make it so all monsters that are in the same column as S-Force monsters lose, 600 attack. And then Platina is going to activate its effect upon special to summon back a special, or a banished S-Force monster. So he's going to bring back the Professor Digamma, I believe. It says each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters cannot change its battle position. So putting that in the same column as the Battle Butler to keep it locked into defense position. Toad is also down by 600 as well. And any monster that's in the same column as an S-Force monster is going to be banished instead, too. So that's something we got to remember here. But we're going to see a Monster Reborn for Bow Wow Bark coming out in the 2 unused columns to make it so they won't get banished. And then there's Access Code Talker, which might actually spell game here. Yeah, that might actually spell game. It is not under effect by any of the S-Force monsters since it's not in that same column. We're going to see him banish 3 to blow up 3, and I think our S-Force player has seen enough, and we're already into game 2, or game 3 rather, game 3 situation. And one thing I want to mention is he starts with Idea, the Heavenly Squire. Interesting choice for the deck. It's met with an Ash again. Prankins player always has it. You got to love to see it. As he starts with Copy of Place. But I do want to mention that if you guys are looking to buy playmats, deck boxes, sleeves, dice, etc., and you haven't checked out Imperium Duelist, please do so. A link to their site can be found in the description below. You guys shop on their site. You can use my discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order, and of course support the channel in the process, which helps out a ton. And if you want to support the channel just by shopping on TCG Player, please feel free to use the affiliate link I have in the description of all my videos. If you guys shop and check out using that link, like you normally would, just under that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase goes right back in the channel and helps out a ton. And also consider becoming a member of the channel today by clicking that blue join button down below or at the link in the description. So we're going to see a summon limit here on the summon of Meow Mew, which definitely has got to hurt. We're going to see him still fulfill the first half of Fansies to send what looks to be Place. Then Meow Mew, I think, is going to get in over top of Idea, and that's going to pass his turn right there. And then our S-Force player is going to start with the Bridgehead to add a copy of the, what was its name again? The Rapichiyomaru. Very interesting name. And we'll see what he does from here. Of course, Summon Limit will probably affect him as well, but probably not as much as our Prankins player, since it likes to put out maybe just a couple monsters per turn. I know S-Force has a link as well. I think it's called S-Force Justify. But we have not seen it yet. Does have quite a few cards in the archetype. This must have just came out because I've never seen it before. But it looks like he's going to normal the Rappa Chiyomaru, and our Prankins player is going to fuse for Weather Washer. And we're going to see the effects of place as well as Dropsies to give him 1,000. And we're going to see him use the effect of Weather Washer to banish Meow Mew instead of attributing itself here to summon back 2. So that's why we didn't see him summon off the Dropsies. He just gained 1,000 and opted not to summon. And I'm assuming he got to summon those 2 because it counts as 1 summon. Now we're going to see Rappa Chiyomaru activate, banishing Gravitino during our Prankins player's turn to summon Platina. And then Platina brings back Gravitino, putting them in the same columns as both Dropsies and Fansies. So it's going to make them lose 600, and if they leave the field, they are banished. You also get to search a copy of the S-Force Trap, which is S-Force Specimen. And I'm assuming Gravitino, yeah, adds an S-Force card from deck to hand when special summoned. So that's going to be clutch. So if he tries to link off either Dropsies or Fansies here, it will not get its effect because it's not hitting the graveyard, I believe. Because I believe they have to be sent to the graveyard as link or fusion material for the summon of a Prankins monster. Now we're going to see him normal summon Fansies, rather, in the far zone. And we're going to see him go into the battle phase here to clear both of his monsters. Gravitino only having 1,400 defense and Platina only having 2,000 defense. So be able to remove both of those, no issue. And we're going to see him link into Dodo Doodle Doo. The only thing I think keeping our S-Force player in at the moment is that summon limit, which is doing a pretty good job ensuring our Prankins player cannot absolutely just go off like bonkers right now. Gain another 1,000 from Lamps, or Dropsies rather. Now up at 10,000. And now we're going to see him activate Dodo to add back 2. Be Pranks and Pandemonium. And it looks like our S-Force player has Nibiru in hand. It looks like it's going to conflict a little bit with summon limit. And we're going to see an end phase Pranks to recycle 3. And of course, grab a draw. And passing it back over to our S-Force player, starting with another copy of Bridgehead to go ahead and grab a search. Looks like he's going to go for Gravitino, the light level 5 Psychic, 2,000 attack, 1,400 defense. Going to normal summon another Rappa Chiyomaru. And then use its effects, banishing the Gravitino, and imagine he's just going to go for Platina here. So that'll bring back the Gravitino. No, going for Gravitino. Activating its effect to add the Quick Play spell. The S-Force Showdown. Allow him to summon one from hand in defense. So imagine that spell is pretty advantageous because I feel like with a deck like this, it's pretty easy to play around the column gimmick. As we saw the previous turn where he just normal summoned his Dropsies in a far zone. But our Prankins player has Harpy's Feather Duster, which is really strong here. It's going to clear that summon limit and force out both of his other backer right now. It's going to force the showdown to summon another Rappa Chiyomaru. And he's not going to use the S-Force Specimen. I'm sure he probably doesn't need to. I'm not really sure why you don't, though, because he could have summoned back the Gravitino to get another search. I'm not entirely sure that I'm not an S-Force player. I've never played the deck. I don't know the interactions. I'm not going to pretend that I do. But we're going to see him link into Dodo, and then we're going to see Place activate as he adds another copy of Place. Going to play Place over Place. Lots of placing happening here. And they're going to then search another Prankid, and of course, both of his monsters now down by 500 attack and defense. And I believe he added a copy of Lampsies there. Normal the Lampsies, link that into Meow Mew. And then Lampsies will burn for, not 700, 500. Now creating a 3,000 life point difference here, and we haven't seen any battle damage done. Sounds about Prankids. So now he's going to summon out the level 1 Fansies. And we'll see what he's going to do from here. It looks like we're going to see the Bridgehead, or not the Bridgehead, Specimen activate in the graveyard. That is going to, I believe, move one of his S-Force monsters into a different column. He's going to attempt to slide the Gravitino over into the same column as the Fansies. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, I'm pretty sure I know why now. He's going to make sure it doesn't hit the graveyard to get its effects. No, that's Dropsies, I believe. I don't know why I thought it looked like Fansies for a moment, but that's Dropsies. My apologies. But it looks like all it's going to take for our Prankins players to out that is just going into the battle phase to clear it. And then he's going to quickly link the Mew and the Dropsies into Bow Wow Bark, so we'll gain that 1,000 here regardless. I mean, it did force his battle phase. I'm not going to say that it didn't do anything, but it did force the battle phase, so that is pretty good. And it's going to allow our Prankins player to fall right into a Nibiru, and yeah, not going to change the Rapichimaru because I believe that would get sent off by the Nibiru. Not entirely sure. Maybe it would have. Maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know. But either way, Nibiru comes down, and it's a pretty big token. They have 7 counters on it for dice. I'm going to assume it's got about 7,000 attack, so we can assume that is a pretty big Nibiru token sitting there. Or might have 4,000 attack, 3,000 defense, but it is a pretty big token. And then we're going to see Pandemonium summon out Rocket Ride. That's going to trigger place, allowing his Rocket Ride to gain 5, alongside his Nibiru token as well. So it's getting boosted by quite a bit. And he's going to send off of a Fansies to summon out a Roxy's. Yeah, I think this is like the first time we've seen Roxy's this entire match, by the way. Now we're going to see Rocket Ride tribute itself off. And looking at Bow Wow Bark and maybe Doodle Doo here, or another Prank Kid, but he's going to bring back Fansies and Bow Wow Bark, and that is going to do it for his turn. And we're going to see Bow Wow Bark get activated, or not we're going to see Bow Wow, we're going to see N-Phase Pranks activate here. Recycling 3 and getting a draw. Now his turn is truly over. Now we're going to see our S-Force player start with Idea, the Heavenly Squire. A card often used in Monarchs being used here. I'm not sure why. It is pretty cool, though. This engine, though, is just not resolving. Whatever the idea is trying to do is just not resolving. Met with Ash one time, now met with Solemn Strike. He'll gladly pay that 15, as now he's only at 9,500. Our S-Force player is going to go into the battle phase, clear one monster, might have been I think it was the Fansies, and that'll do it for his turn. A lot of advantage slowly rolling up here for our Prankins player. A lot of time spent under summon limit. But now slowly being able to regain that advantage lost turn after turn. We're going to see him link off the Roxy's into Mew Mew. We're going to see the place chain block it. And going to see the Roxy's activate, banishing 1 to draw to summon out Lampsies, linking Mew Mew and Lampsies now into a copy of Dodo Doodle Doo. And I'm not sure if this is where we'll see an access code. Or something to that effect, because our S-Force player really doesn't have much going here. And place activating again to drop that Nibiru token down by 500, making it 25. There's totally awesome. So yeah, it looks like our Prankins player is going for a pretty big push here. He's going to switch that Nibiru token to attack mode, so you know he means business at this point. And we'll see here. We're going to go into the battle phase, it looks like. We're going to swing over the token, 2,200 from the Toad. And the rest, yeah, he's just going to go ahead and concede there. And Prankins take that match, a very grindy match, 2-1 against Security Force. A pretty cool deck that I have not had the pleasure of seeing yet. So, and maybe you guys are like me and you haven't seen the Security Force deck either. It's pretty brand new, so I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't. But let me know what you guys think about the S-Force deck. Seems pretty cool. Seems like it just needs a little bit more to make it better. Definitely has some pretty solid cards. Gravitino's continuous like effect does seem pretty solid. I'm not even gonna lie. Basically a macro Cosmos for monsters, or basically a D-Fissure for any monster in the same column as an S-Force monster. Pretty cool. but not enough to best the Prank Kid strategy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you did. And more feature matches coming tomorrow, more double uploads. I think tomorrow might be the last day of double uploads. So I've sorry been bombarding you guys with feature matches, but I've got to get them out there, and I hope you guys have been enjoying them. Either way, leave a like if you enjoyed, drop a comment, share the video with a friend, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff. It helps out the channel a ton. And as always, WinnerKills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, a huge shout out goes to all the YouTube members supporting this channel, and a special thanks to our Divine Level channel member, and he is Cadillacs, aka Shadillacs84. Thank you, man, so much for your continued and very generous support of this channel.